I got back into dating after 60, thinking the difficult part would be finding a man I liked. The difficult part is figuring out whether I have actually been asked on a date. One man messaged me and said, "You could come over Saturday night and watch me play video games." Watch him play. Not play with him. Not go somewhere together. I was invited to sit on his couch and observe him shooting imaginary people. Sir, I am not putting on mascara and a good bra to watch you save the galaxy. And yet people keep telling us that women over 60 are the ones sitting at home. Some 20 and 30-year-olds have a television, 3 gaming systems, food delivered to the door, and a telephone containing every person they have ever met. They do not need to leave the couch. Meanwhile, I have earrings on, my shoes match my purse, and I have already checked whether the restaurant has parking. Who is slowing down now? Dating today is full of invitations that are not quite invitations. We should hang out sometime. All right. When? I do not know. Sometime. That is not a plan. Sometime is where unmatched socks, unfinished diets, and vague romantic intentions go to retire. Then there is the famous, "What are you doing right now?" message. I am over 60. Right now is not enough notice. I have to consider the weather, my hair, the location, my energy level, whether I already took off my makeup, and whether I have mentally committed to staying home in my comfortable pants. If I have already put on my comfortable pants, our relationship is going to need to be much further along before I change them. Apparently, one of the newest dating trends is something called chalant. It's the opposite of nonchalant. It means you show interest, you communicate, you make plans, you follow through. Women my age are thinking, you invented a word for that. We used to call it making an effort. We were chalant before there was an internet. A man had to telephone your house, risk having your father answer, ask for you by name, suggest a specific activity, and then arrive at your home wearing pants that had a crease in them. That was bravery. Now I get messages containing 3 letters. WID. The first time I received that, I thought it might be a medical abbreviation. It means, "What are you doing?" Usually nothing that requires an emergency response from a man who could not type the other 14 letters. I call this whole situation the low-effort dating trap. It happens when two people text for weeks, send each other little hearts, discuss what they ate for lunch, and begin feeling as though they have a relationship, even though neither one has stood in the same room with the other. I fell into that trap once. This man sent me, "Good morning, beautiful," every single morning. It was lovely. Every morning, there he was. "Good morning, beautiful." After 2 weeks, I suggested we meet. Suddenly, good morning disappeared. Apparently, I had not been building a relationship. I had subscribed to a sunrise notification. That taught me something. Attention is not the same as intention. A person can text you all day because texting is easy. Making a plan requires a little courage and willingness to leave the house. So now, after we have exchanged enough messages to establish that he seems reasonably normal and knows how to use punctuation, I say, "I have enjoyed talking with you. Would you like to meet somewhere?" And I stop. I do not choose the day, select the restaurant, check the hours, make the reservation, give him directions, remind him twice, and call that being pursued. I have organized enough people during my lifetime. I am not becoming the cruise director of a grown man's love life. I want to see whether he can turn interest into action. He does not need to plan a hot air balloon ride over Tuscany. Honestly, at this age, I would prefer something closer to a restroom. Coffee is perfectly fine. But even coffee has become controversial. One man said, "We could get coffee and then take it back to my apartment." No, my coffee and I will be remaining in public. Coffee does not need to see your apartment on the first date. A simple date is not necessarily a low-effort date. One of my nicest dates was in a quiet cafe where we could actually hear each other. He chose the place, confirmed the time, arrived before I did, and remembered that I preferred tea. That was thoughtful. It was not expensive. It did not need to be. I do not need a man to spend $200 trying to impress me. I need him to put down his telephone long enough to discover my last name. There is a difference between simple and lazy. Coffee at a charming cafe is simple. A walk through a park is simple. lunch, ice cream, a farmer's market, live music, a museum, a bookstore, or a community event can all be simple. Come over. I have leftovers and Netflix is lazy when I barely know you. I do not know if I like you yet. I certainly do not know if I trust your leftovers. Another thing I learned is to have a telephone conversation before meeting. You can learn a great deal from 10 minutes on the telephone. Does he ask you anything about yourself? Can he carry a conversation? Does he interrupt every sentence? Does he sound like the same person who wrote the profile? And is he really 64? Or was he 64 when his profile picture was taken during the Reagan administration? Dating profiles are another adventure. There are men holding fish, men sitting on motorcycles, men wearing sunglasses in every photograph, men standing beside a woman who has been cropped out, but not quite far enough. There is still one feminine hand resting on his shoulder. I have questions. Whose hand is that? And does she know she has been removed from the relationship? Some profiles say, no drama. Whenever I see no drama written 6 times, I begin to suspect there may already be a full theatrical production underway. My girlfriends and I compare notes. We have learned that you do not need someone with no baggage. At this age, everybody has baggage. I have baggage. He has baggage. Some of our baggage has wheels, identification tags, and medications packed inside. The question is whether he has handled his baggage or whether he expects me to carry it. I have also learned to ask direct questions. What are you looking for? Not because I expect a marriage proposal before the appetizers arrive. I simply want to know whether we are on the same page or whether we are reading entirely different books in separate libraries. Is he looking for a committed relationship, casual companionship, someone to travel with, someone to watch movies with, or does he mostly need somebody to remind him where he left his reading glasses? There is no shame in wanting different things, but there is a problem when one person is honest and the other keeps everything vague enough to receive the benefits of a relationship without accepting any responsibility for one. I also pay close attention to how I feel around him, not just whether I feel butterflies. At this age, butterflies can be attraction, anxiety, or something I ate at lunch. I ask myself, do I feel comfortable? Does he listen? Can I be myself? Does he respect a boundary without sulking? Is he kind to the server? Does he talk about every former partner as though she escaped from a psychiatric facility? If every woman in his past was crazy, I start wondering what diagnosis he has prepared for me. Consistency has become very attractive to me. Does he call when he says he will? Does he confirm the date? Does he arrive? Does he follow through? I am no longer deeply impressed by a man saying, I have never met anyone like you. I want to know whether he remembers we are meeting Thursday at 6:30. Poetry is lovely. Calendar skills are also lovely. Then there is ghosting. Ghosting after 60 is particularly inconsiderate because we have to determine whether you lost interest, lost your phone, or need someone to check the local obituaries. Just say, thank you, but I do not think we are a match. We are grown. We can handle disappointment. What is difficult is wondering whether a man has rejected you or simply fallen behind the recliner and cannot reach his life alert. I also take safety seriously. My first meetings are in public. I drive myself. A friend knows where I am, who I am meeting, and when I should be home. That does not mean I am frightened. It means I have lived long enough to understand that common sense and romance can occupy the same space. If he becomes offended because I will not meet privately, that saves me the cost of coffee. A decent man understands. And if a man I met online asks me for money, investment help, gift cards, or cryptocurrency, the relationship is over immediately. I am looking for romance, not an unpaid internship in international banking. The biggest thing dating after 60 has taught me is that I am not waiting to be chosen. I am choosing too. When I was younger, I sometimes wondered, does he like me? Now I also ask, do I like him? Do I like how I feel around him? Does he add something good to the life I have worked very hard to build? That change is powerful. I am not looking for someone to rescue me. I am not looking for someone to complete me. I am already a complete person. I would simply enjoy meeting another complete person who owns at least one clean shirt and is willing to leave his couch. Dating after 60 can be awkward, confusing, disappointing, and absolutely hilarious. But it can also be honest, exciting, and freeing. We know ourselves better. We recognize patterns sooner. We recover faster. And most of us are no longer willing to twist ourselves into uncomfortable shapes just to keep someone interested. I do not need perfection. I want kindness, curiosity, consistency, humor, and effort. I want a man who can make a plan and has a pulse, but a plan with a day, a time, and a location. Sometime is not a day. Later is not a time. And my couch is not automatically a destination. Now tell me in the comments, what is the strangest invitation or funniest message you have received while dating, and what actually counts as a real date to you? Because I am open to modern dating. I would just like modern dating to put on some decent clothes and meet me outside. Share this with someone who is over 60 and is dating and who needs a little smile. And do not forget to like and subscribe.